Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects, and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. We start today with some unexpected news from Tesla. Namely, that its entire charging team of around 500 employees has been laid off. At the time of filming, and remember, we filmed this late on a Thursday ahead of a weekend release, the reasons for those firings are still a little shrouded in mystery. Insider reports claim that Tesla's former head of charging and her entire team were let go after she pushed back on demands from Elon Musk to shrink the team's size. But we've yet to hear an official reason given from Tesla. Elon Musk has confirmed that Tesla still plans to grow its supercharger network, but cautioned the expansion will be, quote, at a slower pace for new locations, end quote. Tesla has already cancelled multiple contracts for supercharger sites that were in the early stages of development, and as always, when we have more information and clarity, we will share. Energy ministers from the G7 nations, that's the US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Canada and Japan, have agreed in principle to stop burning coal by 2030. Given that coal-fired power plants and industrial operations constitute a major cause of anthropogenic climate change, this news is welcome, if a little late. But as is often the case with politics, the devil in the details shows some less than stellar accommodations, namely for Japan and Germany, which both still heavily rely on coal-fired power plants for their electricity. The agreement included an alternative goal of phasing out coal-fired power plants, quote, in a timeline consistent with keeping a limit of 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise within reach, in line with countries' net zero pathways, end quote. And while the agreement says 2030, German ministers seem to be suggesting 2038 will be the country's goal. For many years, we followed the development progress of StoreDot's extreme fast charging cell chemistry, tracing its pathway from the lab to pre-production engineering samples. This week, one of StoreDot's first recipients of those engineering samples, Polestar, showcased a highlight reel of a specially commissioned engineering sample 77 kilowatt-hour battery pack undergoing its first extreme fast charging session in a prototype Polestar 5 EV. The fully drivable verification prototype recorded consistent charging rates above 310 kilowatts and recharged its battery pack from 10 to 80% state of charge in just 10 minutes. The video is well worth a look, although we note that one of the team in the video commented about the size of cables required to dump that much power into a battery pack that quickly. Electrical vertical takeoff and landing specialist Joby Aviation is celebrating the latest milestone on its journey to production status, having completed all of its pre-production testing. In a press release towards the end of this week, it confirmed that its two pre-production prototype eVTOL craft have covered a combined 33,000 miles of in-air testing spread over 1,500 test flights carried out over the last 4 years. With this testing phase complete, the firm says it's ready to progress to its next phase of development, where its production intent aircraft will undergo official for-credit flight testing. This next phase of testing is just as intensive as the one it's completed, and then after that, commercial airworthiness testing will follow before it can begin official commercial operation. Just under a year after it launched its 3-row EV9 SUV, Kia has confirmed that it will be adding a new variant to the EV9 family early next year, the EV9 GT. Built on the very same eGMP platform as most of the current in-production vehicles from Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, the EV9, particularly the EV9 GT line, is already no slouch, with enough power to get you out of most problems. But just as the EV6 got the GT treatment, so too will Kia's family-friendly hauler, and frankly, I'm kind of curious as to what an all-out performance EV9 will drive like. Kia has already confirmed that we can look forward to, quote, enormous power and a sprint time of around 4 seconds. Expect many more expensive EVs from prestigious brands to be totally schooled, if it's like the EV6 GT. As Volkswagen adjusts its electric vehicle lineup to respond to changing demand, it's making some pretty big changes to its ID.3 for the new model year. Aside from exterior tweaks that Volkswagen revealed last year, its new ID.3 Pro S-Trim variant gets a 20 kilowatt booster power output from the same motor as found in previous model years. While this version doesn't get the new 79 kilowatt-hour usable battery that was designed for the ID.3 GTX that revealed earlier this year, sticking with the older 77 kilowatt-hour battery, it does now get battery preconditioning for fast charging, resulting in up to 175 kilowatts of theoretical DC fast charging prowess. There's also a new larger centre display with the same ID software found in the just-launched ID.7. It's no secret that fast charging is the Achilles heel of EV ownership, and given the news from Tesla this week, we're all too well aware of how fragile the EV charging ecosystem really is. But a new study from Oak Ridge National Laboratory proposes some ways that charging providers could ease current charging headaches and give owners a more gas station-like experience. The advice revolves primarily around software used to control public charging and suggests that each site leverages interconnectivity between stalls to allow an overall system-wide controller to better address and respond to faults with the system. These would include being able to reconnect and restart a charging session after a supply blip, which apparently is a more common reason for charging sessions failing than most of us would know, and to allow stations to reduce power if one of the multiple modules inside of the stall is in a fault condition or in need of repair, rather than simply erroring out and refusing to charge. Chinese-made EVs can now be found in many major markets around the world, and whatever your opinion on them or the PRC, they do help lower the point of entry of ownership. In the US, however, strict rules to date prevent the majority of Chinese-made EVs from going on sale. But a new study this week from consulting firm Alex Partners proves that American consumers are actually open to the idea of buying Chinese-brand EVs for their next car. That is, if those vehicles were 20% cheaper than a comparable non-Chinese market EV. The results speak for themselves, with 73% of those who said they were very or moderately likely to get behind the wheel of an EV saying they were open to it being a Chinese-made EV. This just reinforces that the real issue in the marketplace is cost, not the fact that it's electric. Despite what poorly reported headlines might have you believe, there are more and more EVs hitting the world's roads, and that means more charging infrastructure is needed to fuel up. And over in Europe this week, ACEA, that's the European Automobile Manufacturers Association, published data that said that countries in the EU need to install nearly 8 times more public charging stations per year than they did in 2023 in order to meet the EU's own EV goals. By 2030, the EU has a goal of having 3.5 million charging stations across member nations. But, says the ACEA, growth in EV purchases happened 3 times faster than the growth in EV charging station deployment. It warns of a possible nightmare scenario in the near future. But we should also note here that the ACEA hasn't always been particularly friendly towards EVs. And finally, for this segment, Tesla's autopilot system, along with Ford's BlueCruise, are under increased US federal investigations into their operational safety. This week, we learned that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the effectiveness of an autopilot over-the-air software update pushed to more than 2 million Teslas last year, an update that was designed to address safety concerns after multiple incidents where Teslas in autopilot mode had failed to identify and safely avoid stopped emergency vehicles on the public highway. In the case of Ford and BlueCruise, NHTSA has confirmed its preliminary investigation has become a full-blown investigation following 2 fatalities involving BlueCruise in Mustang Mach-E cars. We'll be publishing a video on Monday discussing one remedy to this all, so keep your eyes peeled. Our shorts are coming in a second, but first, a word from a long-time sponsor of this channel, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. I used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our own home, and our Energy Sage verified installers were professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us out too. And as someone whose utility company put up rates by a large amount this year and has just been given approval to do the same next, I'm very glad I already have solar, so won't you join me? And now it is time for shorts. Daimler Trucks North America's Detroit Rivian subsidiary has officially opened a planned expansion at its Hibbing, Minnesota location. The facility is now twice its previous size and will be used to expand the truck maker's BEV-specific component remanufacturing program. Electrify America has confirmed that it intends to expand the total number of charging stations on its network from 4,000 to 5,000 this year. It says it will do that by opening larger charging sites and also plans to expand its plug-and-charge compatibility. Former President and Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump took to the campaign trail this week during the midweek break in his criminal trial in New York City. During his day off, he visited multiple rallies in the Midwest and continued his anti-EV stump speeches. Tesla white hat hacker Green the Only has been delving into Tesla's latest over-the-air software update and seems to think that Tesla's about to bring a new feature to market, a Tesla-specific voice assistant. While Tesla hasn't confirmed this, Green the Only is very rarely wrong. The US Department of Energy, hot on the heels from last month's announcement that it would be greenlighting new offshore wind energy projects, has proposed auctions for the 18 gigawatts of potential wind farms now approved off the US coast. Not so long ago, Cadillac announced it would be ending gasoline vehicle production and going all in on EVs to become a luxury EV brand. But this week, the brand has backtracked, stating it will make ICE-engined hybrids well beyond 2030. On May 1st, the US Commonwealth of Delaware officially expanded its electric vehicle rebate program to include used vehicles. Residents can now get up to $2,500 in rebates on used EVs with purchase prices below $40,000 US. Talking of incentives, by the time you watch this video, it's expected that the White House will have announced an easing to EV tax credit restrictions in order to help the auto industry continue to sell EVs. But because we film this on Thursdays and it's due Friday, I can't tell you the details, so watch next week. Tesla's charging team may be in disarray right now, but Rivian's charging foo has been strong this week, with the company unveiling its new next-generation charging stall that it says are fully designed for interoperability with different EVs, both 4 and 800-volt packs, as well as full NACS and CCS Type 1 compatibility. There aren't that many Tesla Cybertrucks on the road yet, but this week a YouTuber by the name of Cobra Tolja aired his frustrations with his own Cybertruck. After 1 month of ownership, he made a video detailing the long list of faults with his ride. But as is usually the case, if you own an early example of a vehicle, it tends to open you up to being more susceptible to those early issues. It's been a while since Rivian unveiled its new R2 and surprised everyone with its future R3, but this week it apparently began asking its existing customers how they'd feel if it offered a performance-oriented R2 with a 2.5-second sprint time. EarthCruiser, the Oregon company that was known for its overlanding retrofits, has closed up shop. It cites market and economic factors as the reason for its closure, but this now means you won't be able to get the Hummer EV camper conversion that the firm offered. Hertz is getting ready to offer up even more of its current EV rental fleet for sale on the used car market. And while that might frustrate those of us who look forward to being able to rent an EV when away from home, it could be good news for those looking for a used EV bargain. Hyundai's Meta plant in Georgia was always planned to be an EV-only production facility, but this week the company's CFO confirmed that it's now looking to add hybrid production to the factory. It's a sad piece of news, especially given how strongly Hyundai EVs are currently selling. Mercedes-Benz Trucks has announced it successfully completed its first megawatt charging test using the recently defined MCS, or Megawatt Charging Standard. The new standard can provide up to 300 amps at up to 1.25 kilovolts. Electric motorcycle company Arc Vehicle has gone into liquidation. Its Vector motorcycle will therefore not be entering into production. It had tried to bring the $128,000 high-performance Vector to market, but only had 11 takers. Despite fuel cell vehicle sales plummeting in the US this year and existing owners threatening legal action over a lack of support and refueling, Toyota has opened a new hydrogen center headquarters in Southern California it's calling H2HQ. For the first time since the 1990s, US generated less energy from wind power than it did the year before. According to data published this week, wind energy generation during 2023 fell by 2.1% over the previous year, caused mostly by changes in weather patterns from El Niño. Mercedes-Benz posted its Q1 report this week, showing a drop in revenue for the brand. However, the report wasn't all doom and gloom, with EV sales accounting for a growing proportion of its overall market share. It said it remains confident of a good year overall. In a similar vein, Volkswagen Group also posted a drop in profits during Q1 this week, but like Mercedes-Benz, says it's confident in hitting its targets. Unlike Mercedes-Benz, however, Volkswagen Group EV sales fell across its various brands. In more positive news, however, Kia America reported that while its overall vehicle sales were down 3.6% year-on-year during April, it delivered a record number of EVs, with close to 5,000 EVs sold during the month. These were bolstered by the popularity of the EV9. Sibling brand Hyundai also had an incredibly good April in the US, posting its own record EV sales for the month of April. Just like Kia, its overall vehicle sales in the US fell in April, but its EV5 and EV6 set new sales records, with just shy of 5,000 eGMP-based cars going to new homes. Chinese electronics giant Xiaomi may have only just started production of its very first electric car, the SU7, but this week it claimed it had just produced its 10,000th one, just 32 days after the first SU7 rolled off the line. Quite the production ramp-up. Tesla has announced new operational modes for Cybertruck, including multiple new off-roading options, including Overland mode for better grip and consistent handling, and Baja mode, presumably for when you want to drive harder and faster. There's also a Cyber Tent mode for camping with the Tesla Cybertent. NIO says it's begun public testing of its 150 kilowatt-hour ultra-long-range semi-solid-state battery pack. Select battery swap stations in China will now trial the semi-solid-state battery packs during the month of May, collecting data on their performance. Just 3 days after it revealed its refresh to the Tesla Model 3 Performance, Tesla has increased the vehicle's sticker price by $1,000. At the same time, though, it did reduce some of the prices it charges for optional extras on the same vehicle. CarMax published sales data this week that shows the average price of popular used EVs has fallen by up to $5,000 in just 1 year. This is fantastic news for people wanting to get behind the wheel of a new EV, especially if you consider there are now more used car incentives available across the US. ecoBat, working alongside Nissan, has begun a partnership in the UK that will investigate how to recover, repair and repurpose used EV batteries from salvage yards for use in second life projects. It will ensure batteries are properly recycled at end of life. Opel has confirmed it does have plans to the Opel Manta nameplate coming back to life as an EV. Rumours had suggested that Opel had cancelled the project, but company CEO says it will happen, as well as a new affordable €25,000 EV for the European market. The Spanish micromobility specialist Celanz has signed a deal with Nissan that will see it sell Celanz's brand of neighbourhood electric vehicles, scooters and battery swap facilities across markets in France, Italy and Germany. After extensive testing at construction sites in Gothenburg, Sweden, researchers and partners at Volvo Construction Equipment announced this week that they have proof that battery electric construction equipment can match the performance and reliability of diesel-powered machinery on a construction site. Swedish electric boat company Xshore has just completed its latest funding round, raising a total of 100 million crown, about €8.5 million. The funds will help the company expand its sales and marketing activity, and it notes it will not use the funds for its new production facility. Continuing the cull at Tesla, we found out on Thursday morning that it has slashed its long-standing summer internship program. Having met with plenty of people over the years who've got a head start in the EV industry because of that program, I am sad to hear that Elon Musk is now revoking intern invites that were due to start in just a few weeks' time. Working alongside dynamic wireless charging specialists Electrion, a feasibility study in Coventry, England, is about to begin called Dynacov. It will investigate the practical application of using dynamic wireless charging to power electric vehicles on a section of local road. CATL has announced it aims to begin producing small quantities of its own solid-state batteries by 2027. While it had previously promised that it would bring solid-state batteries to market, this is the first time that the firm has put a firm date on the table. Reuters is claiming in a report this week that Tesla has cancelled plans to use next-generation gigacasting for future vehicles that would have resulted in a single underbody piece. Tesla currently refutes the claims, but Reuters has been accurate of late in its coverage of the automaker. And finally, for the shorts, sales data from China shows that all of the vehicles sold in China during the month of March included a staggering 43% being plug-in vehicles. BYD dominated both the plug-in hybrid and electric vehicle market, which grew 16% year over year. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first, a quick word from one of today's video sponsors, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That's exactly what Atmos does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. Atmos is banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. There's a 3.5% savings rate and a mobile app, meaning that your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees and there are no minimums keeping you awake at night. It also offers accessible solar loans for those of you who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier Earth. And every sign-up supports this channel, so we can keep bringing you the content you like. I'm a customer and I love knowing that I'm helping save money, while also making sure that my own savings don't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. And now, it's time for those last two stories. Indian motorcycle brand Ultraviolet has been grabbing quite a lot of attention in recent years thanks to its impressive-looking rides and equally exciting specs. The original F77, now on sale in India, has become popular with younger, more affluent buyers looking for a stylish ride. But now the company has launched its second bike, a bike that we think would be great outside of India. Enter the F77 Mark II. On paper, it could quite possibly fill a massive gap that currently exists in the EV marketplace between super expensive weekend bikes and round-town runabouts. Sure, it's not the fastest, with a top speed of 96 miles per hour, which is 155 kilometers per hour, but it does offer fast charging capabilities and has a claimed 200-mile, 323-kilometer range. It's basically a 300cc equivalent electric bike, and just like the folks at Ride Apart, we would love to see it on sale globally. I also happen to know that some folks at Ultraviolet watch this show, so can I have a ride, please? And finally, it is no secret that movies can sell things, and in the automotive industry, we've seen plenty of tie-ins between EVs and blockbuster films. For example, Tony Stark famously drove an Audi e-tron in the MCU for a while. Black Widow, also in the MCU, rode a pre-production Project Livewire in Avengers Age of Ultron. And now DC Comics wants in on the action too. At least, that's what we can conclude thanks to a new tie-in between it and Automobili Pininfarina. It commissioned the hypercar brand to bring 4 different variants of the Battista EV to market with a Batman-inspired theme. Marketed through a joint project with Wayne Enterprises, yes, that is a real brand owned between Warner Brothers and DC Comic, those who fancy themselves as a real-life Bruce Wayne and have the cash to back that up can now own a 1.9 megawatt Battista with a sub-2-second sprint time, a Batman theme, and drive around cities going, "I'm Batman." But I'll warn you, that kind of takes it out of your vocal cords after a while, so best not. And on that note, we are in fact done for today. As always, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. Plus, if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make the step towards energy self-sufficiency through solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And of course, thanks to Atmos Financial. Bank better by following the link below. As usual, we would all love it if you'd consider supporting the channel from just $1 a month, or about $10.08 a year on Patreon. The overwhelming majority of our income does come from Patreon, and it's thanks to you all that I'm able to pay the team and make sure that everyone has healthcare. This month also happens to be a triple payday month, and we have lost some of our income of late due to former supporters passing away and other supporters losing their jobs at certain automakers. So any help you can send our way would be very much appreciated. You can also book myself or Kate for a personal one-on-one consulting session, ask us to give a presentation to your local group, or indeed help your company make the switch to EVs. And don't forget to visit our swag store for our latest design. Erin has been working really hard, and I know she has just about put the finishing touches to our particular design for May. It's a little bit late, but the April one, which was growing your own EV charging in honour of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, is still there too. It, along with the rest of our merch, is there for your TE swag needs. And yes, we have checked it. It is now live. It wasn't for a while. Of course, we will be back next week as usual with content going out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And of course, if you are in a group currently feeling the full force brunt of hate at the hands of legislators and justices who don't want you to exist, feel that laws written prior to you gaining the right to vote have precedent over your reproductive rights, or make false statements in government-commissioned reports to try and deny your community the healthcare they deserve, know that you are not alone. You are valid, you are loved, and you have a place in this world, and you have a voice. So please do make sure you use it to register to vote where you happen to live. Regardless of how you vote, taking part in the voting process gives you a voice and ensures democracy continues. I know some of you have been upset with me saying that, but we're going to keep saying it because democracy is important. So until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, keep evolving.